Alright, so I just stuck this broom handle, so that's how it's going to look on that side. Obviously it'll have the sponge and the vinyl on it. But I've made that side and it fits now. And it fits on this side, which I'll show you. This is just a broom handle, but give you an idea. You can see it's pretty level. Not that the level makes any difference, but it just shows that it's in approximately the right place. So yeah, and they sit quite nice. So there's the other one here. So what I need to do now is work out where the top goes in here, screw that in, and get that level, and then tape off this edge here, because we're going to put a batten behind it which will support it. There's the hazard lights. Thanks. Yeah, I'll try to trap this stuff here, but you can see that's going to look quite nice in the middle when it's trapped. And that's what it would look like on the edge. I can't really hold it, but I'll just give you an idea against the grey. And you can see, I'll take this back out again, this is this wheel arch, and you can see where I've had to sculpt these out. You can see they're almost exact. Obviously that's that side, that's this side. But they fit nice in there. So what I'm going to do now, rather than penetrate the door card here, what we're going to do is we're going to buy some aluminium angle iron, and what we'll do is we'll put it on the inside of here, which will go on the other side of this metal. So this groove is in here, put this on the other side of it, screw it to at the angle, and then we'll put 3 self-tappers the other side where the carpet comes up, and this is independent then. So it can be put on afterwards, or even put on before, and you can push the card down the side. But I can put it on afterwards and just use this. You imagine, I'll just use this as a for instance. So we'll put a piece of angle iron right there into the body, and then screw it into here. Just drill it and tap it. Put self-tappers through it. But there you go. That's the 2 pieces made. Oh, I think that's going to look right. So Mir's working on the wiring, trying to get this nightmare of a wiring. It's like spaghetti junction in there. So he's trying to get that sorted out, and also been working on the. So he's been working on these as well. Ah, yeah, and the bonnet. How nice does that look now? Comparison. So it's got a bit of soundproofing as well. There's a, if you can see it or not, but this is the plate where the air vent used to be. It's been put riveted in there, and these are quite a mess. So he's got them. Some of them are damaged. This bottom crash roll's a bit damaged, so he's glued it all up. This one we're going to have to cut all this stuff off because it's so hard now, and we just use the main covering, but he's cleaned it all up, all the rust out of it. So I'll wait until the new ones come, and then we'll work out whether we have to take the whole covering off. I just don't want to damage the foam underneath it. If it rips it, it leaves a hole. So we'll see how we get on. Okay, so a quick update on the XK. So it turns out, I remember now, because this bottle is square. It's actually from a Mark II Jaguar. It has an electric wash. On the XKs there were vacuum, and apparently notoriously bad. They were vacuum, I think, from the manifold. And that's why when the round ones are much smaller or lower, and that's why we couldn't put this rod there. So I had a rethink on this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to paint this the same colour. It's supposed to be pumpkin orange, and I was told when the head was painted that once it had been through a few heat cycles it would go that colour, but it's starting to come off already anyway, so I'll go for the pumpkin orange, and I think we'll do the stick in the same. of the prop in the same way. And what I'll do is I'll put it down and I'll show you what I mean, and I think it might just camouflage it that little bit, and we'll polish this a little bit more, make it nicer. But I'll show you what it's like when the hood is down, or the stick is down. So if I lift it up, you see what I mean about where that hood stick is. It's nice and centered. You can barely see it against the black of the HT leads. Don't know, maybe we're overthinking it. But you can barely see it. It works really well. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Going on with the XK. So, Manfred, a friend of mine, he's actually an engineer, a special machinist. He's always working away in Germany or Poland or wherever. So what he's done, he's taken the nut away with him, and the old shaft and the collet. And one of the things he did say, and I can see it, is if you look inside there, this has got a flat shoulder inside where the collet fingers go, whereas on the original it's tapered, so that as the collets go in, it bites down. Whether that will still operate with this or not, I don't know. Anyway, what he's going to do is, we've got some engineer's blue coming. He's going to put engineer's blue on this, and then he's going to put a thread gauge on it and see where the issue is, or we put the nut down. So what's actually happening is on the original you can turn it just over 7 times, 7 full rotations, whereas with this it's 2.5 rotations, so it's not even halfway. But what he's thinking about is we could use one of these square thread pitch files, you know, where it's a square and you can basically chamfer it, and if you put the engineer's blue on it, we'll see where it needs to be cleaned up. And I think it is just a pitch, thread pitch issue with it. Possibly what they've done is just done it on a machine, and it's not been it's not been polished or cleaned, or a finishing thread has been put on it. It's just been maybe cut and then moved on to the next thing. I think that's the only thing we can think it is. Anyway, that's in hand, so that's something. The last thing is the only thing I can do with this drive cable is I'm going to have to send this one back and get it's exactly the same size as that. It's 3 mil, 2.9 something. So it's 3 mil, and it's got to be the same in the gearbox end. I think what's happened is, again, I'm only surmising this, but I think what they've done is in the drive from the gearbox tail shaft, they've made it so that you can use the original speedo cable, because that drive there and the drive in the speedo is the same size as that one. So probably what they've done is they put a gear wheel in it which has got the same drive, and this is for another type, because obviously the Trimac T5 you can use in many different variations, many different cars, and so on and so forth. And this was specifically, I asked, well, when it was ordered, specifically for an XK150. So maybe they'd already changed that drive in it. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think. But apart from that, yeah. So hopefully we'll get a call this week about this brass, and hopefully I'll get a call about the tyres being in, so we can change all these around. If you look at the width, if you look at this tyre here and look how long that is, and then you see how big this one is, the different radials, these are massive. The tyre wall I'm talking about, not the width. And that's why the car's sitting on a bit of an angle. That one we can't even get on the back, well, we barely get it on the back. Anyway, so just give you another update. So this is a friend of mine's car, David, in New York. You can see how the bonnet prop is there. This is how it's supposed to be in an S. But if you look up, you'll see how it's a round vacuum Here you can see the top of it there, the vacuum washer, and I've gone for the electric one. That's where the problem was. And you can see also the brackets angle, and it's onto one side. Yeah, this is why. And David tells me he doesn't use it because he doesn't like the way it props, so he uses this wood broom handle all the time.